Hello everybody. So today we're going to look at yet another shadow box to follow up my last video. I think I spent way too much time trying to really be detailed, and then I realized that it's just not really possible. So this particular collection here, it did not come from the same person, but in this one I tried to group some of the sets that I have here, some of these kind of planks. In Russian it's called, when it's attached to like the same bar like this, it's called planka, which basically means plank. Okay, I have my trusty Edward the cat right there, right? He cannot miss the opportunity to hang out with me. So anyway, so I've bought these as separate sets. I don't really have any rhyme or reason why I did it like this, with the exception of is that it has some of the civil stuff. So this would be to your engineers, to the people who devoted their life not to the military but to the USSR in the labor force. And as you can imagine, society such as USSR, needed production, it needed development, it needed research, and all these things had a medal, or in some cases an order. And we've already talked about order in Russian, orden. It's like the highest level. Medals were more common, orders were more prestigious. You need to do more to earn an order versus a medal. And in the US and in Russia right now, it's the same setup. So some of these things, although they look the same, some of these things are orders, some of these things are medals. So we're going to start us off, and some of these things, whoa, I caught my, all right, and some of these things are just badges. So starting with this one right up here, let's take a look. So this is Orden Октябрьской революции. This is an order of the October Revolution. Now this is real. As far as I know, on this whole board, this is the only one that's fake. That's a copy, and I bought it knowing that. But it's a cool one nonetheless. So when we get there, I don't know whether or not it's going to be in this video. But basically, this is an order of October Revolution, and I'll be honest with you, I am not sure what criteria had to be met in order to get it. It's a pretty common order. It was given for military achievements as well as non-military. Now, who had to get it over somebody else, I don't know, but it's a pretty cool one. You have a red 5-pointed star. You have a very famous battleship called Крейсер Aurora, which means Aurora, Battleship Aurora. It's pretty famous. It's a floating museum, but it had that in there. It was a symbol of revolution because I guess the sailors, uprose against the against the Tsar. And back here you do have, if you remember this, Монетный двор, which means like a Soviet mint. And it has a number, 21,896. So it's a pretty low number, I guess. Have a hammer and a sickle, how appropriate. So that's an order. Yeah, don't really know what you had to do to earn it, but you did. This little guy right here, this is real, and it is actually pretty rare. This is somebody's lapel pin for 50 years being part of the Communist Party. It's called KPSS. So Communist Proletariat Socialist Party or something like that. I don't know how to do it, but yeah, that's a lapel pin. Pretty interesting thing that I got here. All right, going next. This is an order of the Labor Red Banner. So if you remember in the last video, I showed you. I'm sorry, I just can't. He just wants to be next to me like all the time. So every time I film here, he's always here. So anyway, so last time, if you guys remember, there was an order of the Red Banner. Well, this is its civil labor equivalent. Pretty interesting design. It has like a hydro plant on the background. You can kind of see the blue is water. It has like a gear around it. It has like some sort of like a wreath. It obviously has the hammer and the sickle. It has USSR. I have a star. It has like wheat in here. It's everything, and it is, I think, number. Yep, Монетный двор. 1 million. No, wait. No, yeah, 1,059,409. So this was given just kind of like the military version for higher achievements. Now, what those achievements could possibly be, it could be a factory, like it could be like, let's say, some sort of a overseer of a factory floor, and you've produced more of whatever, like tractors or rifles or something like this. But yeah, so you would get an order for that. The next one, this is interesting. This is not a medal or an order. Right up here, it's called Znak Почета, which basically means a distinction mark. So, or like a distinction, well, I guess you could call it a medal. It's not an order. But basically, it was the lower version of this one. So you can kind of see how it's mounted here. This one is higher up, so it's, well, if you're facing it, it's more to the left. But in real, when you're wearing it, it's to your right. But this is a distinction thing, and it's also numbered. For 404,741. Also says Монетный двор on all of them. So once again, if you're a lower class worker, and you can kind of see on it, you have a man and a woman, and they're surrounded by red flags, and you have a star. No hammer and a sickle here, so maybe that's why you want. And here it says Пролетарии всех стран соединяйтесь, which means proletariats of all countries unite. So call to action. Yeah, so you would get this. Now here, I want to call your attention to this medal right here and this medal right here. So this is interesting. You have the civil, oh, sorry, I gotta make sure you guys can see this. So here you have a hammer and a sickle that says USSR. It says за трудовое отличие, which means for labor distinction. And here you have за трудовую доблесть, for labor excellence. Now, I'll be perfectly honest with you. I don't know which one is higher than the other. I'll look it up. I want to say this one is probably higher because it's like excellence. And by the way, in the back of this, you have Труд в СССР – дело чести, which means labor in the USSR is a thing of honor. Jesus, how patriotic. And what's back here? Oh, same thing, Trud. Yep. So it's the same thing. So I'll have to look it up which one is higher. But if you guys remember from the previous video, there were two medals. One for like a distinction at war, and one is for bravery. And the one for bravery was considered higher and less common. It's the same thing here for labor. Now, which one? I'm guessing that this one is lower class because it's the distinction, and this is the best thing. But yeah, once again, if you're a factory worker, if you're a farm worker, and you somehow produced more, invented something that was better than whatever came before it, you got two medals. Next one, за освоение целинных земель. I don't even know how to explain this, but basically it's for farm work. There was a project in the USSR to basically make the land that was previously not farmed like available for farming, and people who answered the call and go like farmed in like far off places got this medal. So who knows? The next one is interesting because actually my grandparents had this medal. Yeah, this is a retirement medal. It says Veteran of Labor, and you have a hammer and a sickle in here. And here you have за долголетний добросовестный труд, for long and honest labor. So when you retired from whatever organization you worked for, and keep in mind it's all government owned back then, you got a medal just for retiring. So some people got gold watches. In the USSR, in Soviet Russia, you get a medal for retiring. Obviously, if you retired like with honors, you know, you built a career somewhere, right? Yeah, we're gonna have to probably make this into a two-part as well. This is an interesting one. This is also an order, and I am trying to remember. Oh, yes, now because I read what it said. So this is an interesting one because it had three different categories. This is the third class. This is the lowest, but it's also the most common one. This is an order of labor honor. So let's think about it this way. You had an Order of the Labor Red Banner. You have a distinction mark. You had these medals. And then here you have, once again, another order that, which, once again, I don't know enough about these things, and I can't recall, and I don't want to make this into a 3-hour long video, like researching in depth. But yeah, you have like overlapping things. So this is a third class of the labor honor, and it's also numbered down here, 163,000 something, but it also had a second class and the first class. Now, in the follow-up videos, there is a military version of this. And the funniest thing is that this order and the military version of this order took roots from the Tsar Russia, because they had what's called Georgievsky Krest, a Georgian cross that had multiple categories and shared a similar ribbon. Now, it's worth noting, and maybe I'll make another video about that altogether, is the ribbon bar. Now, just like in the United States, you know, the actual medals were worn on special occasions. You know, if you're a distinguished laborer, or if you're a distinguished military person, you're not going to wear a chest full of medals everywhere you go. I mean, I guess you could, but probably it's not it's not considered the proper way of wearing it. So you had ribbon bars, and this whole thing, obviously you would mount it on a ribbon bar, and you would wear it. I'd be honest with you, I don't know which one is better, this one or this one. I want to say probably this one is more rare, just from a collector's perspective. But yeah, it's the same thing. It's like they had medals for everything. All right, let's cover a few. So we already covered this one. So this one right up here, or down here. Oh God, I have to read this in order to even understand. Oh, this is for metal work. So this is a medal for some sort of a metal work thing, award. So once again, you have like a metal worker here. And by the way, here you have some sort of like an electrical plant. and the second class would have more gold, and then the first class, I think, it would be all gold. I think this could be probably silver right up here. Yeah, so this is for metalwork. So this ribbon bar this metal bar right here, it has some of the metals that we saw before. So this is exactly what I was talking about. You see that? You had za boevые заслуги, which basically means for war, or for military, like achievement type of deal, and this would probably be an equivalent of this one for labor. So then you see you have two at the same time. Now here you have for freeing of Leningrad. I think we saw it before. Here you have, and keep in mind, I taped them a little bit, so there's a little bit of tape to make them stick like this. So when they go into the shadow box, they don't like overlap the other way, because that would drive me nuts. So I'm trying not to mess with it. This is for freeing up the Caucasus medal right here. This is for victory over Nazi Germany. And then here we have, again, we have a mixture of labor, military, and this is interesting. This is an anniversary medal for 50 years of nuclear energy. 1998. So this is like a 50-year anniversary medal. And here you have a medal for 80 years of like the Communist Party from 1918 to 1998. Now keep in mind this: if you ever decide to collect Soviet stuff, just a word of advice to you: medals that are single medals like this, they are way more valuable than when they're mounted like this. Now, for a collector like me, who's, not really serious about the whole thing, I like them like this because they're nice and neat. Now, I never wanted to like buy a uniform and like start mounting stuff to a uniform, and I sure as hell don't want to like wear him outside or wear him, period. But to me, I like these just because they're visually more pleasing, and when you look at it like this, it looks nice. But from any serious collector, like if they would look at this, they would be like, what the hell is going on? Is this person spend his life toiling the soil, or what is this? So yeah, so this is not a representation from one person. So I just want to make this very clear. And I guess let's kind of wrap it up. We're already on a good stretch. Well, you know what? I'm gonna break this video in half, and then we'll wrap it up then. So we'll see you next time.